You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Welcome to The Ride, a bi-weekly podcast brought to you by Horse and Rider Magazine, co-hosted by Nichole Cherico and Devin Conley. In each episode, we chat with some of the industry's top trainers, clinicians, horsekeeping experts, and professionals to share inspiring stories, training philosophies, and the importance of living your best Western horse life.
On this episode of the Ride podcast, hear from the founder of Legendary Stakes all about this revolutionary platform that benefits horse owners, stallion owners, dam owners, and competitors.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining tonight's webinar. I'm Nichole Cherico. I'm the editor-in-chief of Horse and Rider Magazine. And tonight our panelist is Shane Plummer, who is the co-founder of the Legendary Stakes. Before we kind of get into what the Legendary Stakes is and why it is an exciting new opportunity for riders and competitors, breeders, stallion owners, trainers, we're going to go ahead and let Shane introduce himself and kind of talk a little bit about his background in the horse industry, and then we'll go right into it. So Shane, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us tonight.
Thank you, Nichole. Very happy to be here and have this opportunity. You asked, what is my background? I'm a second generation horseman. My parents, they were highly successful in the racehorse industry. Grew up born in Idaho, raised in California, moved to Utah. Through that time, they did a lot of things with running quarter horses. They led the nation in wins from 88 to 92, and then they kind of migrated over to only dealing in thoroughbreds out of Utah and Kentucky. And they did, very well. Family was blessed and fortunate. They're great horsemen and excellent business people. Got into performance horses kind of by chance a little over 20 years ago. Kind of focused on cutting horses, and that's really where I developed a passion for that sport and that discipline. I myself like to show cutting horses and have a lot of fun with that. But I purchased the horse business from my parents. My wife and I did 16 years ago when it was in Utah. We relocated to Texas. We're in Fort Worth. And a lot of things have changed since that time, kind of focused more on the stallion side of things. I have a commercial stallion station, SDP Buffalo Ranch, and we stand over 30 stallions and of course own brood mares, have cutting horse training, professional training services here on site. We ship semen all around the world, six continents to date. So we're a USDA quarantine facility. So my expertise really is in stallions, and that's kind of where Legendary Stakes got into the picture. A very good friend of mine, I stand 6 of his family stallions. His name is Logan Alley. He's from Colorado. About 6 years ago, he and I started to talk about different stallion incentives, and during that time, there was a lot of different stallion-driven programs just kind of starting. Through our discussions over a couple of years, this format, what we're going to share with you tonight and what we, launched beginning of this year, kind of took shape. So I don't know if that's a good enough background starter to where we were at, but Legendary Stakes is many years in the making, and a real horse-driven. My professional background has been focused on this, and I feel like it's a wonderful and exciting opportunity for the world to be a part of it, because we think it's going to really change everything.
It sounds really exciting. Since you and I started talking, everything that you've been talking about just seems like it's such a great opportunity for so many different people in the industry, not just those who are competing at that high level, but also other people who might be competing more of a regional level. So let's kind of go into what Legendary Stakes is. And before we kind of go into it, I do want to say that we do offer questions. So we will be answering questions at the end of this. So if you do have a question for Shane or want to know more about a part of Legendary Stakes, please ask the questions and we will get to you guys at the end of the webinar. But with that being said, let's kind of talk about Legendary Stakes and what they're aiming to do in the Western performance industry.
Yeah, great. Legendary Stakes, to put it the most simple way for horse, competitors and breeders and stallion owners to understand, is it's a technology platform that unites 14 different Western disciplines. Basically, everything that has a horse and a Western saddle and a rider, we include that. With that, there's a lot of cross-discipline, capability for horses and for all stakeholders attached to that horse. There's an existing infrastructure that's been going on for decades. Everybody that has show horses, competition horses, is very familiar with it. You have a horse, you want to go compete in barrel racing, or you want to go to a roping or a sorting, or you name it, whatever your preference is. You pick the event you want to go to, you go and enter, and you go and compete. And depending on how you do, is whether you're going to have any prize money, awards, whatnot. And that model is great, and it's not going anywhere, and it's going to continue on forever. What Legendary Stakes does is we co-align with that infrastructure, and you have to enter that host event like you normally would, but this is like a side pot. A lot like if you're familiar with Chrome Cash and what the Paint Horse Association has done, it allows eligible horses to be able to pay an extra entry fee to be eligible for a pot that horses that entered that side pot are eligible to compete for, and depending on how you place, whether you get any prize money or awards. Legendary Stakes kind of follows that same model, just on a larger scale and with all 14 disciplines. It opens up a lot of opportunity for people that own show horses, competition horses. It opens up unbelievable opportunity for breeders. The technology platform that is Legendary Stakes is really the thing that makes this shine. To use some examples of, you log in and you have an E-Trade account, and it kind of tells you, this is who I am and this is what I've done. And I don't have one of those, but I know how they function. Legendary Stakes will give that same kind of data and information for sports enthusiasts that like ESPN. You get to see the players' stats or the team stats or the sports statistics, and we have wonderful data analytics in the Western performance horse game with Robin Glenn and Q Stallions, Equistat. We are uniting all of these things into one hub for people that are interested in this. And what you get to do is be a part of it through that side pot system of entering events. And we allow up to 5 different entry categories, as you can see on the screen here. The horse owner, the rider, whether they're the trainer in an open division or non-professionals or amateur or youth. Riders compete against riders. Breeders, they can also enter on that horse at an event. Dam owners and sire owners. So that's 5 different categories of entry, which they all compete against their own respective category. This allows for really, really fun, different leaderboards that you can compete in. The prize money is allocated accordingly through the platform. in the different respective categories. And, it makes for not only a potential, huge purse. I mean, the biggest that could, the biggest purse which will ever happen. And I could go over that and why that is, but it also allows for lots and lots of opportunities for each category to have a place and compete on. I mean, a breeder might strictly only be breeding horses and selling them, and now they have an opportunity as a stakeholder continue on with that horse if they want to, and have a vested interest in the outcomes of what that horse does through legendary stakes, as well as the other 4 categories do too.
So let's talk a little bit about who can enter. I know you've mentioned that horse owners, riders, breeders, dam owners, and sire owners can all compete. Can you talk a little bit about, the unlocking fee, the lifetime participation that's for enrolled stallions and their offspring, kind of the benefits to enrolling and entering?
Yeah, sure, glad you brought that up. That's a major part of it. Stallions. They're very familiar with different stallion incentives. There's a lot of them out there, and they're all really great. The stallions that I stand at my facility, they participate in a number of these different stallion incentives. The thing with legendary stakes is that a stallion owner has to enroll their stallion, and that enrollment fee is a one-time fee. It's a lifetime benefit. So there is no annual renewal fees. That's one of the main things that differentiates it from other stallion incentives, is that you pay once and you have a lifetime of benefit. In 2024, right now, that one-time fee is $12,500. That gives you access forever with this stallion to be enrolled in the platform, and all of the data and connection to that stallion's foals, through being able to be networked and see things. It's pretty amazing once you get into the details of that. But that one-time fee is a lifetime of benefit. We do have a finance option for people that don't want to pay the $12,500. They can do it for no cash down, and then they'll pay out that money through something we call royalties, which I do want to explain here in just a second. So that option is available. Once a stallion is enrolled, they can unlock these 14 disciplines. You can unlock one, you can unlock all 14. By unlocking a discipline, it allows the offspring that stallions get to be able to be eligible to compete in that discipline. So if they unlock barrel racing, all of that stallion's offspring forever can compete in legendary stakes in barrel racing. So unlocking fee, like enrollment, is a one-time fee for a lifetime benefit. What the stallion owner gets, the sire owner gets for doing this, is it opens up these new opportunities for horses to compete. But the real neat thing is that we reward the participation in legendary stakes to 3 different stakeholders. The sire owner, they get 10% of the entry fee. So the entry fee for every legendary stakes event is $250. Every entry fee paid into the platform, the stallion owner gets $25. The breeder of that foal, they also get 10%, so they get $25. And we allow the dam owner, the person that actually owns the broodmare that produced that foal, the same 10% or $25. So in essence, if 100 entry fees come in by a stallion, they're going to get a $2,500 annual royalty for for participating in legendary stakes. This adds up to a lot over time. As a stallion owner, I've never received any money from one of my stallions get or offspring entering an event. Well, that all changes with legendary stakes. As a breeder, I never have. As a broodmare owner, a dam owner, I never have. So we're really excited about that. we feel like it's a very equitable and exciting benefit to those people that want to be in the horse breeding side of things, because without horses we don't have the ability to go compete on them. So we're really excited about how Legendary Stakes is structured to help reward the people that are manufacturing, so to speak, the game that we all love and we have a passion for.
So let's kind of go into all of the disciplines that are recognized by Legendary Stakes, because you guys, I mean, it is literally anything with a Western saddle is included. You guys have such a diverse range of events that are available. And quite honestly, I haven't seen anything like it from any other kind of stakes or, money earning events.
Yeah. Everything with a Western saddle. I'm good friends with the Morris family, and they own Quarter Horse News and Bear Horse News and Equistat. And I ordered a number of reports. This is a few years ago, of all the different disciplines, of all the different equine sports that they covered, to be able to get the data that we needed to see, hey, where are people going? What are people doing? And Nichole, it was fascinating to find out that these 14 disciplines that are on the screen here had over 1 million entries, people participating last year. And that's only the ones that Equistat could record. Of course, there's lots of others that they didn't have any knowledge of because they weren't reported to them. We know that this is huge, okay? And by us having a platform where it links them all together gives, like I said, those three initial stakeholders, the stallion owner, the breeder, and the dam owner, new opportunities to have the horses that they produce go do things. But also the people that have the passion, the drive to have a horse in training, to take it down the road, to go and compete. Legendary Stakes is a whole new world for them to have success in ways that just didn't exist before. And we've modeled out and we've created some really unique opportunities for horses to be successful just by entering the event, just by participating in the event. If you go down one more slide, there's a point system that we have that not only are you claiming money, that's part of our annual purse, and I want to give you a little bit of an explanation of that. But this point system, a horse at an event with one entry, and I did mention there's up to 5 entries at any one event for any one horse. But let's just talk about the horse itself. The horse owner enters that horse. It's going to be ridden by somebody, shown, a race. It's going to be entered by somebody and go and compete. That horse has a possibility of winning up to 10 points in Legendary Stakes. Now, these points, they accumulate throughout the annual competition. So they're specific to the event, but they also accumulate throughout the year, which will then place the horse on our leaderboards for other prize money and other opportunities. But these points are very simple. You enter the event, you compete, you get 4 points. Doesn't matter how well you did. If you're the top offspring by a stallion, you're going to get another 3 points. So if 10 horses show up by a sire, the one that was the highest placing one is going to get 3 points because it was the top offspring by that stallion, by that sire. If there was multiple stallions, multiple sires that had entries at an event in a category, and the top placing one out of that group of stallions, it will receive 2 points. That's what we call best of the best. And if that horse that won best of the best actually won the host event, was the champion of the show, champion of the event, it gets an additional 1 point. So a possibility of 10 points at every event for every entry. Again, this matters not only for the prize money, the pieces of the annual purse that will be distributed to to the winners, but it also matters in this annual competition as people will be able to see their horse, their placing go up the leaderboard, and will give them a roadmap of how they can be successful.
Perfect. And then kind of going off of that, let's talk a little bit about the pay structure that you have for your horse owners, your riders, your breeders, your dam owners, and then your sire owners.
Yeah, I explained a little bit about the annual royalty. That's on the entry fee, but the purse structure is $140 of the entry fee goes into the purse, and that purse accumulates throughout the year. So if there was only one entry for a year, the purse would be a very low $140. But because of how we structured it, we believe that the purse, because of these entries and the opportunities that Legendary Stakes creates for all stakeholders, the purse can be tens of millions, if not over $100 million, with some relatively safe assumptions and the industry knowledge that we have with all that data that I explained, that I got from Equistat and whatnot. Right now, we've had 5 months of what we call beta competition. We started our first event in March of this year. Through March 1st through today, we already have an annual purse of $350,000. So we're very proud of that. When everybody is still in this, education mode and trying to understand what this is, $350,000 to date is something we're very, very proud of. Now, how that will work is at the end of the year, let's just say the competition, we're now at December 31st, that annual purse will be divided evenly to every event that had a competitor, and those competitors that actually claimed purses at those events will get that pot of money. So the purse throughout the year accumulates. You will log into your Legendary Stakes account on your phone, your iPad, your computer, your tablet, however you want to do it. And you're going to have your account, just like I mentioned that E-Trade, you're going to have a dashboard, which, can we go to the next slide? This is just a representation of what the dashboard is going to look like. Every current user gets kind of a static report emailed to them, but this is going to be dynamic, where they're going to log in and they're going to see, this example here shows 9 purses claimed. It shows their total earnings to that date is $35,000. It gives them, a lot of other data points that they can see how they're doing in the overall, annual competition in the game, as we say it. There's other metrics to the right that kind of explain how they're doing, and they will see a roadmap. If you go to the next slide, of different events that they can enter. You can customize this, where it can show you by location. I want to go within 200 miles. There's so many functionalities that we have built in the Legendary Stakes platform to allow users to see how they can be successful. There's kind of a ranking there down to the bottom right of different earnings that this particular user has with their horses. Again, a lot of information that's going to be dynamic and real time. And again, it enhances the things that everybody's already doing, but gives new opportunities to not only earn money, but play a really unique and fun game. And those new ability, categories to enter. Not only does the horse enter, but, riders compete against riders, breeders against breeders, dam owners against dam owners, and now sire owners, if they want to, and they want to participate and compete, they can as well. It just makes it really fun.
And then let's talk a little bit about the sire owner experience. How does it differ from everything else that you had just talked about?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of stallion incentives, and again, they're wonderful. I participate in some. I have friends that do, and clients that I work for and stand their stallions, and will continue to. But this is very, very different in the approach that we've invested a lot in this technology, and we believe, Nichole, that where it is today is nothing like where it's going to be as we continue to enhance it, improve it, and add new features and functions. But this technology for a stallion owner, for a sire owner, and a breeder this is the sire profile. There's also a breeder profile. There's many profiles that people will have through one user account. But this is a sire profile. This will be a snapshot for this sire owner to be able to see how this sire's offspring are doing in legendary stakes at that moment, how many royalties that they've accumulated throughout the year, where they're at. It will allow for networking, kind of like social media, to be able to reach out or direct notification. That sire's offspring owners can also do the same to communicate. You can congratulate people for how they did and what they're doing. Again, it allows for connectivity that's just never happened before. A lot of stallion owners, breeders, they're used to passive information to go hunt for different websites to what happened and how much did my horse win or what happened, these results. Well, this is going to be the opposite way. You're going to get push notifications if you set your settings that way. You're going to have a report where you can look at it anytime and see where you're at. You can compete if you want to in that entry system. It just allows for so many things that, quite frankly, I've dreamed of, but now it's come a reality, and it'll make it really, really fun. But the new opportunities for stallions is what's really exciting to me. Let me give you one example. We stand a stallion here. His name is Highbrow CD. I think that he's one of the greatest sires to ever live. I believe in him fully, and I think that his owners are just tremendous people. When I look at his sire report through Robin Glenn, okay, and it shows me that he's produced $13 million in winners. They average $29,000 per performer. That's all wonderful information. But you go down below it, and it shows the disciplines that won all that money. And that shows that he's pretty diverse, right? He can do a lot of different things. Last time I looked, he's had winners in 8 different disciplines. Well, if this stallion owner decided to participate in legendary stakes and unlock those disciplines, he's going to now not be receiving that passive information. He's going to be receiving full-time, information whenever he wants, whenever he logs into his account. He's going to be able to provide new opportunities for those horses that were winning money to go and compete in this side pot system that a lot of horse people are already familiar with, all from the comfort of their phone, all from it's almost as easy, not yet, we're getting there. It's almost as easy as Amazon shopping, one-click shopping. Once you've created your account, once you've enrolled your horse, what that means is just simply getting out your horse's papers and putting in the information into the system. Your horse goes into, you can see on that screen right there, it says My Barn. And you're going to be able to see your horses. You're going to be able to see all that information. You want to go enter an event, you select it, you hit enter event, and click. Your payment information is already stored in the system, and boom, you're entered. You receive an email with this is what your entry was. It's really cool. It's really slick, and we believe that this will be something that everybody is going to fall in love with, just because the ease and the convenience of it down the road.
So for those who are listening right now and are interested in kind of figuring out how they can enroll and enter their horses, what are the steps for that?
If you go to legendarystakes.com, you can see more information, more detail from kind of what I just explained. But top right-hand corner says log in. If you don't have an account yet, it'll give you the option to create an account. Creating an account is free. Once you create a Legendary Stakes account, we have your information. We'll send you notifications as the platform continues to develop and new features are released. But what you really need to do is get in the game. Create an account, get out your horse's papers, see if you're eligible. We already have 465 stallions that have enrolled in Legendary Stakes. We know that there's 51,000 foals that those stallions have registered. So there's a lot of horses out there that can currently compete in Legendary Stakes. And then you just simply go through the process of entering and going and competing, earning your points, claiming your purses, and watch those purses grow throughout the year as the annual purse continues to increase, as more entries come in. If you have a horse that the sire isn't eligible yet, pick up the phone and encourage that stallion owner to participate. We'd love to have them, and I believe that they will be very happy in the long run that they did this. Those royalties, just by doing some simple math, can be tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for those stallion owners, breeders, and dam owners. It's a really good deal. So check your horse's eligibility, and if you're not eligible yet, talk to your stallion owners, reach out to us. We're about as user-friendly and customer-friendly as we can be. We want everybody to love this. I really believe in this, and I will do everything in my power to make it successful.
So kind of going from that, you guys are growing in terms of events that are offering these stakes. Can you kind of talk a little bit about where people can find events to enter?
Yeah. You can see the events on the live site, the marketing site as we call it, just the one that everybody in the world can see. So you can go through and look at all of them. But once you create an account, you can actually kind of see more detail. That's how you enter. You have to have an account first. But the events are spread across the country. That's strategic. We wanted it spread out, so decentralized, so to speak. We didn't want everything centralized. We used that information that I got from Equistat to kind of see where people went. So we selected events that were popular in attendance and spread across the country and spread out throughout the calendar. So we didn't want to have everything, loaded in the fall or winter. We didn't want to have everything loaded in the spring. It's spread out across the calendar. It's spread out across the country. And, most importantly, it's spread out for lots of people to be able to participate. I mean, if you're in California, we have events for you. If you're in Florida, we have Northeast, we have events everywhere. And that's really important to us. But you'll be able to see them all. We are now having event producers be excited about this. We get people reaching out to us on a weekly basis. Please think about having us be part of your calendar. I don't think I said this, but there's 700 events a year in Legendary Stakes. That means 50 events per discipline, and that totals up to 700. So that's how we selected them. We're having great participation in this initial launch, but we're ready now for a lot more because the platform continues to evolve every single day, and it's only getting better.
One thing that really piqued my interest about Legendary Stakes is how you guys are supporting event producers and associations. I think, like I said at the beginning of this webinar, we have a lot of opportunity for those competing at the highest of competitions. But this gives people the ability to attend horse shows throughout the country. Like you said, you guys are scattered everywhere, which in turn is going to help increase numbers at these horse shows and events and help these producers kind of increase their events and make them a little bigger and a little more competitive. Can you talk a little bit more about how Legendary Stakes supports them?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. We cross promote. we promote their event. We're actively marketing and trying to encourage people to attend those events that these producers are investing in and trying to make successful. So we have a synchronous relationship there because, quite frankly, they have to enter their event in order to enter ours. You can't enter a legendary stakes event unless they first enter theirs and compete in their event. So we want these event producers, these associations to be highly successful. We want the industry at large to grow. There will be people that will have a trained cutting horse, and because that horse's sire is eligible for, say, barrel racing, they're going to find an event and they're going to see, oh, there's only 2 other people that have entered. I'm going to go enter as well. As soon as that horse enters, those other 4 categories, the other stakeholders that are attached to that horse, they're going to get a notification that they can enter this legendary stakes event as well through their respective category. So in essence, legendary stakes has created a way for people to see a path to success in other areas because of the financial reward and the leaderboards and point system. But that also just gave that new event one more entry that wouldn't have existed before. So that's pretty neat.
That is really neat. And overall, what's been the response since you guys have started Legendary Stakes with everybody in the community, owners, breeders, people who are competing as riders?
Well, to get 465 stallions at the end of last year, that was awesome. That's really fantastic. That gives us a great start because we really, with 51,000 eligible horses, this is a great way to see how this works. Now, having said that, the people that are really involved and engaged with it today, one really neat one. There is a sire that, Cat's Royal Boone. I think that he has, it's 30 foals to date. Maybe it's 50. Don't quote me there, but it's in the dozens. And currently he is sitting second in the sire leaderboard. And the horse that's sitting first has, over 700 registered foals. Here is a stallion owner that believed enough in this, believed enough in their horse, and believed enough in the opportunities, and are chasing it, that they're just doing amazing. And as more people catch on, as more people see that, it's just going to grow like wildfire. So as you put it, the people that are very, very successful in horse competition, they're still going to be very, very successful. And we want them to be. We want to reward that excellence because that's what we all dream and aspire to be. But this allows for more opportunities, for more equity in the game that just has never existed before. And that's what gets really exciting, that if you just do, you just try, you're going to be rewarded. And it's modeled out to allow everybody to taste in that success. We don't want 465 stallions. We want 40,000 stallions. We don't want 51,000 foals. We want 5 million. The bigger this gets, it literally does benefit everyone.
And then kind of going from there, I know we talked a little bit about, well, actually throughout this whole webinar and at the beginning of it, but what are your future goals for Legendary Stakes? Obviously, it keeps growing. You are reaching an insane amount of disciplines. And some of these disciplines are younger disciplines that are growing as well. What's kind of your future goals there?
I mean, our goals, we're horsemen, we want what other horse people want. We want our horses to have opportunities. We want them to have longevity, to be successful in the sphere that, we had a passion and drive for, but then to have more opportunities down the road doing something else if need be. One of the things that I've really enjoyed, my upbringing, I said, was in racehorses. Let me just share something personal for a minute. a racehorse that isn't successful as a racehorse doesn't have many options. It's a hard truth. Performance horses, they have lots of options. If somebody produces and raises a performance horse, doesn't matter the discipline, and let's just say that it isn't as successful as that person had hoped, it can go out and do another job. There are horses that were, trained cutting horses that weren't successful in that sport, that discipline, and they're world champions in roping. Reining is the same thing with, going and doing sorting or you name it, ranch riding. And we cover the gamut of what is possible for these horses to go have success and have longevity. And how does that benefit? That benefits everybody. I mean, it benefits the horse. If a horseman can do what is right for the horse, then that's really what matters, is it not? And we feel like we have something that we have mapped out. Again, it's years in the making and a lot of investment. We really believe in this, but we'll really allow for these horses to have a life. It will allow for breeders to see, new opportunities that they never thought before. Stallion owners explain that, but competitors to be able to, in the palm of your hand, be able to see a roadmap where you can go be successful, where you don't just have to feel like you're being swallowed up by somebody that, has a better horse or has more money. Or Legendary Stakes does away with all of that. If you compete, you will be successful. And it's going to take a little bit of time for people to recognize that and see how it works. But that's what the technology's for. It's there to handhold them throughout the way. And it'll take a little time. We know that. This hasn't been as, building something this big. It certainly isn't easy, but it's worth it. And we genuinely appreciate the people that have supported us this far, but this is just the beginning.
I am really excited about this. I come from several different parts of the industry, and growing up, especially in the Western pleasure world, we didn't really have these kinds of opportunities. We see them a little more in some of the, reining, cutting, those kinds of events. But this really kind of opened up the door to so many more opportunities for people across the whole industry. So, I'm really excited for what you guys are going to do in the future, because I think it's going to be great. So, with that being said, we do have a couple of questions, and it looks like we have a little bit of time so we can answer them. The first question that we had is someone wanted to know if there's a maximum number of disciplines that you can enter.
14 disciplines. So that's the maximum. And that's what we currently have.
And kind of a follow-up to that question was, do you guys have plans to go into any other disciplines out there?
We sure do. Again, we're very, very forward thinking. We do have plans in the future, but we're going to make this as good as we can with the 14, and then we will expand.
I love it. I think there's so much opportunity out there for that. Another question that we had is, someone said, you mentioned stallions unlocking disciplines. What is the cost to unlock, and is one included with the stallion enrollment?
That's an excellent question. Right now, again, we talked about the enrollment. It's either $12,500 for a one-time fee, or you can finance it through those royalties I explained for zero down. The unlocking discipline fee this year is $10,000. When you unlock your first discipline, you get 2 for 1. So you get a bonus discipline when you unlock your first one. If you want to finance unlocking of a discipline, you have to pay $5,000 down, and then there's a financing option through the royalties of $10,000. So those are the two options for unlocking a discipline. You can either pay up front, or you can finance by paying $5,000 down, and then $10,000 will be paid out of the royalties over time. And that's all done through your account, and you'll see it in your account, and it's rather easy to follow. But you get 2 disciplines when you unlock your first one. bonus discipline free.
Perfect. Another question that we had is someone wanted to know, how does an event qualify as a legendary stakes event, or how can they get their regional, local, or even just larger horse shows involved in it?
Yeah, just reach out to us. You can contact us through the website. You can contact us through email, info@legendarystakes.com, or through social media. This happens all the time, and we'd love to engage with you and see if this is something that would work out for both of us.
And if it's somebody that's just attending and doesn't have any connections with the show producers or managers, do you guys reach out to them, or do you encourage those participating in the events to talk to their producers to reach out to you guys?
No, we can definitely reach out. That's not a problem. And, we're proactive in that. We have a full-time team member that they manage the events. Having said that, it's always best for the person of interest to be able to also reach out to the show producer and express interest. Likewise with a stallion. If you have a horse that's by a stallion that isn't in legendary stakes yet, please give them a call. Let them know that that's important to you. They win, we win, you win. Everybody wins.
The best kind of competing. Everybody wins.
That's right.
So somebody else wanted to know about the enrollment fees. They asked if they were for mare owners and foals as well, or if the enrollment fee was just for the stallions.
That's a great question. I'm happy somebody asked that. It's only for the sires. All the other horses in legendary stakes are free enrollment. So once you create your legendary stakes account, get out your binder of horse papers and just start putting your horse's information in. It'll populate My Barn, and you'll start to see the activity and the action from then on.
Wonderful. Well, those were all the questions that I had submitted. So if we don't have any more questions, then I guess we will go ahead and wrap this up. As you had mentioned earlier, the website is legendarystakes.com. If you want to learn more about it, or if you want to enroll your stallion, or you want to enter your horses, you want to enter yourself in an upcoming competition, be sure to check it out. Thank you, Shane, so much for coming on and talking with us. I think this was so educational, and I learned so much, and I can't wait to be doing this with my own horse.
No, thank you, Nichole, and really like to thank everybody that's taken the time to listen to this. We're really excited and love to have you. We believe that this really is the future.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for tuning into the Ride Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and please be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow Horse and Rider Magazine on social media, and find us at horseandrider.com to see all the cool things that we're up to. And if you have any comments or questions, please be sure to hit us up at horseandrider@equinenetwork.com. We want to hear from you guys. And if you like what you're listening to, please be sure to leave us a review on iTunes.